The Soucouyant scream split the clearing like a bolt of lightning. A swirling column of pure red smoke slammed into Kemar, hitting him with a force that sent him crashing to one knee. His cutlass, his only weapon, went skittering across the dirt. Arin cried out, "Kemar!" and instinctively reached for him, but it was a fatal mistake. The smoke lashed out like a whip, a living, breathing tendril that wrapped around the boy's small wrist and yanked him forward with brutal force. Arin screamed, a sound of pure terror. The roots of the giant silk cotton tree, the creature's anchor, pulsed with an even brighter, more sinister light. With every single beat of that infernal red glow, Arin's skin flickered, as if the monster was trying to burn its way into him from the inside out. There was no time to think, Jules. The old hunter didn't hesitate for a second. He uncorked a small clay jar filled with a thick, pungent oil. This wasn't just any oil. It was blessed bush oil, carried all the way down from a priest high in the mountains. With a grunt, he hurled it into the air. The jar shattered, and the blessed oil burst into a fine spray, raining down over everything: the coiling smoke, the gnarled bark of the tree, the cursed soil itself. The reaction was immediate and violent. A deafening boom ripped through the clearing. The shockwave was so powerful it tore leaves from the highest branches and sent Jules tumbling backward onto the forest floor. The red smoke recoiled as if it had been burned by holy fire, shrieking into distinct voices at once. One was disturbingly human, the other was impossibly ancient, a sound that should not exist in our world. Kemar, his chest heaving, forced himself back to his feet. "Jules, what now?" he gasped, his voice raw. The old man scrambled forward, clutching a rusted iron crucifix so tightly his knuckles were bone white. "We have to bind Chi's spirit," he yelled over the lingering roar, "before she can fully take flesh." "How?" Kemar shouted back, his eyes darting to the struggling boy. "The boy blood is the tether." Jules roared, "That's her connection. We break that and she lose her anchor." Kemar's gaze locked onto Arin. The boy was writhing in the dirt, trapped within the coils of red smoke. Angry red veins throbbed across his neck and up his face, glowing like terrible crimson worms just beneath his skin. His pupils, once warm and familiar, now glowed with the same hellish light as the creature holding him captive. Kemar's heart felt like it was cracking into Arin. "Just hold on," he whispered, his voice trembling. "Grab the cutlass." Jules yelled, his voice cutting through Kemar's despair. The command snapped him back to the present. Kemar sprinted across the clearing, his boots kicking up dirt to retrieve his fallen blade. The Soucouyant sensed his intent. Her smoky form surged, coiling upward, and began to twist into a grotesque, half-formed shape, a torso. But with no skin, just raw bone and muscle, gleaming wetly in the eerie red glow. For a terrifying, fleeting moment, its face flickered into clarity. It was Ma Agatha's features, but stretched and distorted by pure, burning hatred. "Boy." The voice that boomed from it was not one, but a chorus of rage. "You blood is mine." The creature lunged. Without thinking, Kemar swung the cutlass with all his might. The heavy blade hissed as it sliced through the smoke body, scattering it like disturbed ash. But it was no use. The creature instantly reformed, shrieking with fury, swelling even larger as it drew more and more power from the glowing roots of the silk cotton tree. "Oh God," Kemar whispered, a cold dread washing over him. "She's too strong." Jules forced himself upright, his old bones protesting. He planted the crucifix deep into the dirt, so hard that the earth around it cracked. "Then we weaken the roots," he shouted. He ripped open another pouch from his belt, this one filled with a mixture of ashes, holy water, and crushed calabash seeds, and flung the contents directly at the base of the tree where the glowing roots were thickest. The effect was catastrophic. The roots recoiled violently, pulling back from the blessed mixture as if they'd been struck by lightning. The entire silk cotton tree groaned, a low, ancient sound like something massive and primordial, turning in its sleep deep beneath the earth. The Soucouyant screamed, but this time it was a sound of pure, desperate starvation. Her unfinished body flickered, losing its coherence. The smoky tentacles wrapped around Arin loosened their grip for a precious second. "Now, Kemar," Jules roared, his voice echoing through the forest. "Break the link." "But how?" Kemar yelled, his mind racing. "Cut the blood bond. Cut the cursed vein." Kemar stared down at Arin's arm. He could see it clearly now, a single vein, pulsing with a red-hot light under the skin. It was a direct, horrifying conduit between the innocent child and the ravenous monster. Kemar felt his stomach churn with nausea. "You're saying I have to cut him?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Yes." Jules shouted, his face grim. "A small cut. A nick. Just enough to break the chain." Before Kemar could act, the Soucouyant surged again, roaring its claim. "Mine." Arin screamed in agony as the smoke wrapped around him, tighter this time, squeezing the very life from him. There was no other choice. Kemar dropped to his knees beside his friend. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Arin." He choked out. He lifted the heavy cutlass, the long blade trembling in his grip. Arin managed to look up at him, his eyes still glowing, with tears of pain and fear streaking through the dirt on his face. "Please, Kemar, hurry," he pleaded. Kemar took a single, shuddering breath. He steeled his resolve, and he brought the blade down not to harm, but to save. A quick, sharp slice across the glowing, cursed vein. "Just enough," Arin gasped. A single bead of blood welled up from the small cut. It was bright red, pure red, human red, and in that instant, the world exploded. A shockwave of pure white light dripped outward from Arin's arm. The Soucouyant shrieked, a sound so piercing that the glass of their lantern shattered into 1,000 pieces. The smoke body convulsed, splitting apart into violent, chaotic spirals. The glowing roots of the tree went dark in an instant. The ancient silk cotton groaned. Again louder this time, a final, deep sound, like a great stone door sealing itself shut for eternity, and for the first time, the Soucouyant stumbled. Her form flickered, cracked, and then collapsed. The tether was broken. She recoiled into a swirling mass of red mist, shrieking and collapsing into herself, unable to maintain her shape any longer. Jules saw his chance. He leapt forward, slamming the iron crucifix back into the ground with all his remaining strength, and screamed. The final words of the binding ritual: "Earth, salt, and blood take back WH. It is not human." The ground itself split open beneath the swirling smoke. The red mist was dragged downward, fighting, thrashing, and howling in agony as if invisible. Ghostly hands were pulling her deep into the soil. Her voice, filled with undying rage, tore through the clearing one last time. "This is not done. You hear me? This is not done." With one final, blood-curdling scream, the last of the red smoke was yanked underground, and then the earth slammed shut. Silence, absolute, deafening silence. No wind rustled the leaves, no insects chirped. Just the heavy, stunned stillness of a forest that had held its breath for far too long. Kemar dropped the cutlass with a clatter and pulled Arin into a trembling, desperate embrace. The boy was limp, but he was breathing. Jules collapsed beside them, utterly exhausted, his body finally giving in. It was over, or so they thought, because from behind the massive trunk of the silk cotton tree, something else began to glow. This wasn't the angry red of the Soucouyant. This was a different light, a cold, unnatural blue. Kemar's eyes widened in disbelief and a new kind of fear. He looked at the old hunter, Jules. "What the hell is that?" Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this chapter, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what happens next.